Then, when I heard they were bringing back Sophia the First, I was very interested. Since it was a show that I grew up on and therefore means a lot to me personally. So when I heard that they were bringing Sophia back in a new show called Sophia the First Royal Magic, I was very intrigued. Though the more I thought about it, the less intrigued I got. And then I started to think that, they're probably bringing Sophia back because she's a recognizable character. And we all know Disney loves to cast in all that nostalgia goodness. Now let me make this clear. I was never expecting it to be terrible. Just forgettable. And not a whole lot that I could, really sink my teeth into. In terms of story. And interesting characters. That might sound kinda dumb, considering Sophia is made for a young audience. You've watched the original show. Sophia the First had very interesting characters, some of which even had entire arcs. Character arcs, that is. As well as great songs, good world building, and humor that still holds up surprisingly well. Like, seriously, I rewatched some of the old episodes a lot, and I laughed just as hard, if not harder. But will the same amount of effort be put into the new show, was my big question. So one morning, I watched it. And I enjoyed it. Quite a bit, actually. Is it perfect? No. Is there effort being put into this? That I'd say so. I'll explain the basics in case you haven't watched it yet. So the original show ends with Sophia and her siblings graduating and whatnot. With Sophia and Amber planning to go off to the same school. And whatnot. Except no, because apparently a new school opened up, so Sophia wants to go there instead now, as this show establishes. Very abruptly. This probably sounds like a complaint, but the show actually has Amber address this, and I'm really happy about that, because I was not expecting them to. So that made it clear very early to me that this, none of the people on this forgot the original show's ending. Except one part about it. Because apparently James is going to the same school as Amber now. It was established in that less than a minute scene in that one episode that he was going to the school for the nights. I'm gonna be completely honest, this bothers me a lot more than it should. So anyway, Sophia arrives at her new school called Hogwarts. Wait, no, I mean Charmswell. And the school's run by Miss Nettle, which is a detail I really like. One, because she was a character in the original series, and I'm glad to see her represented here. And two, but it makes so much more sense than if this school just came out of nowhere. And I'm really glad they established that she founded the school recently. So when Sophia gets there, she meets her fellow students. She meets this one kid named Zane, and this other girl named Leela, I believe that's how you say it. I don't remember. And this one girl named Camila. A lot to say on all these characters individually, but I'll get to that later. And they all came here to learn magic and potions and spells and all that kind of stuff. There's also this really big jock named Devin. He's basically just Draco Malfoy. So Sophia and her friends get sorted into a house together. They even get, a house pet who's, a unicorn dog hybrid. Called a puppercorn. Now, let me make this clear. I'm not trying to hold this show to, a crazy standard or something. I'm just trying to make sure that the same amount of effort's being put into this show as the original. Because if we're gonna bring Sophia back for the next generation, it should at least be on the same level as the original series. Because if it isn't, why bring Sophia back at all? Why not just create a whole new show? And I, for one, think the show does justify that. It's good in its own way, but also feels like Sophia still. Episodes are split into two different stories now, which is different from the original series. Which leads to some storylines throwing a bit rust and not as long as they should be in some cases. Or not as long as I'd want them to be, because there's some really fun and creative ideas for some of these episodes. Even though they're small, they're still entertaining, though. Now going to discuss all the new characters. Peppa, which is the peppercorn. I kinda expected him to annoy me, but at no point did he. He didn't really cause any problems. He actually helped a few times. And it was kinda sweet about, how happy he was for Sophia and them to take him in and stuff. I also expected him to replace Clover, but he didn't. He's still around. And that made me happy. Now, Leela is probably my least favorite of the new students. But that's not because he's bad, he's just the least interesting to me. I do really like how she's a lot like Sophia, as in she only became a princess recently, and that she has a magical bracelet like Sophia had her magical amulet. That's really interesting to me because no other royal member we've seen besides Sophia has been born into royalty. Well, hasn't been born to royalty. You know what I mean. I hope she gets more episodes that make me like her more in the future. Because I do like where she's starting. Now, I really like Camila. It's a lot of fun. And kinda makes me feel a little bit seen, if I'm being honest. Because in the original series, every time there was an episode about how Sophia's family looked down on Cedric, the royal sorcerer, I always thought, well, if it's so easy, why don't you guys do it? It just never made sense to me when the royal family was so upset with Cedric when they have no experience in magic themselves. I mean, Cedric's trying his best here. That's why Camilla's dream of becoming a sorceress queen, which is queen and royal sorcerer in one, made me really happy. Because I've had this mindset since I first started watching Sophia at all. And also, her personality is just a lot of fun. I love how reckless she is, and how she just has no regard for the rules whatsoever. I love how that makes it clear that if you ask her to do something, you know what they'll gain into. And it's not her fault if it goes horribly wrong. And it's very clear that she means well, so you never really get annoyed with her. Or at least I don't. And it's just very clear that she cares about magic and what she's doing. There is also Zane. He's fun. He has a likable personality, and it's clear he cares about his friends. He's also got a cool outfit. He does have a lot in common with James, Sophia's brother. Son Sophia even comments on at one point in the show. But he's still distinct enough. He also has a magical instrument, which I think is neat. I hope it gets its own episode at some point. I really want to explore what that thing can do. He also has a little sister named Zarya, and she is easily my favorite new character in the entire show. Her whole thing is she's kind of like the complete opposite of Sophia in every single way. And it's kind of amazing. I don't know, just every single line she has makes me laugh. It's just great, man. I don't know what else to say. She kinda reminds me of Wednesday Addams. Is that just me? And the episode where Sophia and Zarya need to find something they both enjoy is my personal favorite new episode in the series. The conversations they had with each other was so much fun. The music and songs in this show are good. They are trying to sound modern, and therefore can kind of all sound the same. Which, compared to the original show's songs and music, which all had different rhythms and sounds to each other, is a little disappointing, but still. But there still are some memorable songs here and there, and so it's still catchy. And can still leave an impression, which is important. My favorite song came from my favorite episode. The one with Sophia and Zarya, because it has clever lyrics and a fun back and forth between the two of them. As for things I want to see from the show in the future, I have a few things I can think of. I want to see more of Cedric teaching Camila magic, considering that sign they set up. And it would be so great if that's where his character goes. That's the perfect way to keep him relevant in the show. It would just work way too well for this character, for them not to do more with it. Considering he always wanted to lose magic to take over the kingdom. I also want an entire episode on Zane's magic mandolin, like I said. I think that would be a lot of fun. I also hope we get to see more of Sophia helping Layla navigate being a princess and whatnot. It'd be a great full circle moment for Sophia. It'd just help us learn more about Layla as a whole. I'm also curious where Devon's whole character is going to go. I wonder if he's going to become nicer as the show goes along, or just become a bigger jerk. I could see it going either way, honestly. I'd also be interested to see how they'd bring back characters from the old show, since I have liked how they've done that so far. See if we can get Vivian/Sabrina Carpenter back. The show's popularity would escalate immensely as a result. They brought Ruby and Jade back in that one episode, and that was a lot of fun. It was cool seeing them again. Obviously, we got to see Cedric again, Clover, Minimus, Miss Nettle, Rapunzel, technically. I hope at some point we get to see that council of princesses that she mentioned. James and Amber, I suppose. By the way, I love how they've made it clear that Amber really wants to improve and become a good queen in the future. And that's hard for her because she is under a lot of pressure to live up to everything Sophia does. But not in a mean or jealous way, which makes it clear that she has grown from the original show. I just thought it was worth mentioning. Mainly, I just want more fun episodes. That's all that really matters. At the end of things. Don't know. Though, I wonder if this will lead to more reboots of other Disney Junior shows. Like Little Einsteins, or Doc McStuffins, or The Lying God, or my personal favorite as a kid, Jake and the Neverland Pirates. I'm not saying any of these are definitely gonna happen, but I'm saying if Sophia does well, Disney could do, well, what Disney does. They saw something that worked, so they make a lot of it. And that's really all I have to say about Sophia Royal Magic at the time. When more episodes come out, maybe I'll talk about it more in another video. But for the time being, I've gotten most of my main dots out. And ultimately, I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I could see there was some genuine effort being put into to making this a fun, new version of the Sophia story. Where it is now, I can't call it as good as the original show, but when more episodes come out, who knows, maybe it can be. Maybe it can even be better. We'll see where it goes. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I would really appreciate if you were to subscribe to my channel. It would make me really happy if you did. But ultimately, the thing that makes me most happy is knowing that you enjoyed this video. And like always, may the magic be with you always. Bye!